late. I hate to start my parties late. Here's the party card. Ain't that great? That ain't the best part, baby. Just wait. It's a genuine weather vane that moves with the breeze. Portable hammock, honey. Who needs trees? It's casual entertaining. We aim to please. And my party's alright.
And another Friday is upon us. You are here with hosts Matt Wilson, that's me, and we got Brandon Westover and Jim Eichenberger. Hello, gentlemen. How are you today?
Good.
Good, thank you.
We are sans Brian. He has left us all alone. I'll only assume once again that he is looking for another job as a pastor somewhere else. So tell your friends. Let's get that rumor started right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. What do we think, fellas? How was the week?
Busy for me.
Busy for you?
Quiet.
Quiet? Good.
How about you?
I was 50-50. Yeah, I wasn't bad. I spent a lot of money.
I heard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, relatively speaking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I bought a truck out of nowhere, and it's turning into a project out of nowhere. I spent some money.
Mm-hmm. That's how it goes.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do anything fancy. Nothing fancy. Real quick, Jim, I bought a old rusty 75 Chevy pickup. The wife wants an old pickup to drive. And she didn't even care. If I wanted to make the 6-cylinder run that had a 3-speed.
Keep that.
Oh, no.
Is that straight?
Yeah, it's a 250.
Yeah, keep
But
that, though.
it has the integrated head. So, are you familiar with this at all?
I'm not.
Stupid truck. I never heard of such a thing in all my days. The head has integrated intake manifold. It's cast all together. So basically, if you pull the head off, you have an intake manifold on the side of it. And then to the bottom of that intake manifold also is the exhaust. So, and the reason why we have a problem is put a battery in it. I was told it needed a fuel pump. Put water in the radiator. It comes pouring out the head. So, got to looking, pulled all the accessories off. There's a port where they had a temperature sensor, and then underneath that is a freeze plug that's like rotted and leaking. So, and my exhaust manifold is cracked in half. So I made some calls and basically determined that it's not worth putting that thing back together.
Gotcha.
Like that's a very problematic design. So I purchased a 5.3 out of an old pickup, and we're gonna LS swap it.
That's exciting.
I know, I'm very excited, dude. I'm gonna make it a standard. I'm gonna keep it a standard.
Yeah, that's what you were saying last night.
Yeah. So all this stuff is very easy, in that a million people have kind of done this. And I go to Summit Racing, Jegs, even Advanced, and then you can go to manufacturers themselves. You can go right to Hedman or Hooker, Collie, everybody. And they all have LS swap stuff.
Yep.
But you have to figure out what you need. And then, so the 5.3 to a standard is not super common done. And I guess 5.3 with a standard doesn't exist natively. Like, GM didn't make one. They made 4.8.
I think they did.
They made 6.0.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Everything I'm looking up. And when they did 6.0, they did it early. 99 to 2002 was it. Everything else was V6s and V8s because they're gutless. Or small V8, that 4.8 because they're gutless. And then 5.3 never had one. So, long story short version, I spent a lot of time mining and farming. I pulled the tranny is coming out of a 94 1500. This is not our normal topic. I understand, people, but hold on there with me. I pulled the transmission out of a 94 1500 with a 4.3. And the 4.3 basically has a crank like a 350 that hangs out the back like a big lobe. LS motors have the tiny little sunk-in shaft, right? So I had to get a flywheel for an LS, but I have to get it 40 thousandths thicker so it'll engage the hydraulic clutch. I mean, it took me probably 3 hours of interneting and talking to people to finally get that answer.
Yeah.
But now I have it. I got that answer. Some other interesting things. If you just put the stock manifolds on your square body Chevy, they run right into the frame rails. And the guy that I'm getting the parts from, he said people will actually torch their frame rails. Yeah. I'm like, no, not doing that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just smashed the headers up.
Yeah. Well, I got to get some headers. They make headers that are real tight and then dive down.
Yeah.
So, like I said, they have everything if you know what your problems are going to be.
Right.
My last thing to work out is to do some kind of fuel system, which I was told if everything was given to me but a fuel system, I'm still going to have $1,000 in this conversion because to get a fuel system, by the time you're done, it's around $1,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So
It's exciting.
I'm very excited. We're going to teach Zoe how to drive standard.
That's sweet.
She's excited. Corey's excited. So it should be a good time. But that's what I spent a lot of time this week doing.
Yeah.
Learning
good.
about how to do that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So next week, back to work. Well,
You know that's
possible
gonna-
jury duty. Maybe. Listen,
We'll spiral you down somewhere else.
if this works out awesome, Chevelle's coming back with a 6-liter or a 6.2. Like,
I agree.
there's a no-brainer. It's just a no-brainer. I was watching. Have you ever seen Vice Grip Garage? It's the hillbilly from Wisconsin.
I don't know. Probably.
He has a really good show. You should check it out. Vice Grip Garage on YouTube. He found a Chevelle 71, pretty much the same as my car. 400 small block, similar cam, similar carb, transmission, similar gears. And he dynoed it at 235 wheel horsepower. And he raced it. He was running 1280s. The car's supposed to run 1230s. So, I mean, that's about where I figured my car would be. Mm-hmm. But I was so disappointed when he came out with 235 wheel horsepower because, at the motor, that's worth than 300 or 325.
Yeah.
But I was thinking it's 400.
Right.
No, there's no way.
Another thing, too, with dynos that I'm learning is some dynos are more forgiving than others.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're not all,
So one dyno is not like another.
from what I'm hearing, no.
Are you familiar with the term dyno?
No.
So it's a set of steel rollers connected to a generator, and you take your vehicle and you put your power wheels over those two drums. They strap the car down,
It's almost like an e-check.
and you do like they used to do at e-check, and you do a test hit, like you simulate like you're driving and you max the car out, and then that thing measures how many horsepower you're getting at the tires.
Yeah.
And so it's funny that you say that because he had this fella bring a traveling dyno in a trailer, and he loads the car like side saddle. It's kind of strange, but I guess he does this in Tennessee everywhere. That's where the guy's from. And like I said, it came out 235. What are you hearing about in variances of?
I think it has to do with brand.
Oh, really?
Like some see people like getting 1,600 horse, but really they might be getting 14 or 12. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
You know,
it benefits.
Some dynos might read really high.
It benefits you as a dynamometer operator
Right.
to make your customers' cars seem really big.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is just what I hear on the street. You know,
Okay. All right.
from reliable people. You know.
What is it when you can't trust your dynamometer anymore? You know, where are we as a country?
I don't know.
All right. Enough of that nonsense.
I should point out real quick, I got a 2005 Buick,
Yes.
and the wheel bearings were shot. And Bob put new wheel bearings in for me. It drives like a brand new car.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
Nice. Are we going to have a sponsor? Is there a sponsor to the show? The Bob Westover Automotive Fixer Group?
There you go.
Yeah. Bob, we need to talk. Wow. I think we could swap your drumming pay on Sunday. We'll just keep it here at the church if you we'll use your name on the show. All right.
No, he did a beautiful job.
Good. How long was your wheel bearing bad for? Has it been some time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I always like to see how far I can go on those.
Just leave them
But,
home.
you know,
Yeah.
you can't take the bearing. You have to put the whole assembly on now.
Right. Yeah.
What a job.
Yeah. So I've had some where I've driven them like I drove one all the way to Arkansas and back. And I drove another one for like 3 long hauls. By the end of the 3rd long haul, I probably had 10,000 miles on it. And people were like, "Is your car okay?" On my phone, like my car phone. Wow. Just wah, 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 wah. Yeah, oh yeah. And I'm like, "No, everything's fine. It's bad wheel bearing." You know, when you pull them apart, I've never had one where I was like, "Oh, we almost died."
I mean, I've had them where they feel gritty.
They feel gritty, but they never feel like they're gonna like fall apart.
No.
Yeah, that's why I push them until I can't take the sound no more.
Ball joints, different story.
Yeah, ball joints. No, you don't mess around. You don't mess around with ball joints.
I had one blow on a Lincoln, and it like ripped the whole front end off.
Oof. Well, because your tire goes poof, right?
Yeah, it did. It went like this.
Yeah.
Crazy. Luckily, I wasn't going fast.
Yeah, oh man.
Yeah.
That's some messed up stuff. Well, same thing. Tie rod end. You don't mess with your tie rod ends.
No.
But yeah, wheel bearing. You can ride around till it's insufferable, and then you change her.
But it was shaking.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it'll wear your tires out.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah.
And the brakes probably were, you know, that's moving too. So,
Right. Right.
So
All right.
we
We should
go.
do some topics like people expect from our caliber of show.
there you go.
I wanted to, because Jim wasn't here when we were talking about, when we were talking about the end times and like using the stars to calculate the ages and the time frame, and how if you go by the stars, Christ could have been born, if you break it all the way down astrologically, on 9/11 at some time in the morning, right? There was a fella I watched, and I think I sent the link around, or we're all part of the End Time Productions videos. And there was that one fella who's got the Jesus haircut, talking about the end of the age. So the actual end of the age of Pisces or Christ, like so without sounding, I don't want to sound what's the bad one where you get your future read? Astrology.
Astrology,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to confuse this for astrology. make that very clear. But like, essentially, he's saying we're in the age of Christ, which began shortly before Christ was born, and will end. He's saying the time of man, 666, actually means you multiply them together, and that gives you 2160 years, and that identifies an age. And so if we take the time of Christ, we've now lived 23 of those years. So we have a bit further to go in this age before the next one. I don't know how. He wasn't doing astrology either. He does dive a little more into the Pisces thing, and that's why, like he says, that's why I think the Catholics have the fish symbol, and the symbol of Christ is the fish, because this is his age. But I think that's more of a Catholic or a man laying that over. I don't think that's actually used or scriptural. But your thoughts on an age being 2160, so that really means that we have a bit more to go before Christ returns. His age is another 140 years away.
Yeah. I've looked at it more like Jesus said, you won't see me again until you say, blessed is he that comes in the name of the Lord. So the leadership, and he was talking to the leadership, and right now they're very far from, seeing Jesus as a Messiah.
So you're saying we would actually have to have believing Christians in leadership?
No, I'm looking at Israel.
In Israel. Okay. Yeah. So they're when they acknowledge that the Savior's here.
That's right.
Okay. Because right now they have not.
Yeah. If you go back to 70 A.D., they lost their land.
Yes.
Their language.
Yes.
Just about
everything.
Everything.
And they were scattered.
And they were scattered all over the world.
Yes.
And now, about 1867, they started coming, the language started coming back. They started going back to the land. They got the country, or, what they call it, the nation of Israel.
And when was that? That was around the time of the UN? Or
47.
So,
and then in
after World War II.
Right.
Yeah.
And then 67, they had the
Six-Day War with Egypt.
And that's when they got the capital city.
Right.
And then in 1980, they declared it their capital. But they didn't move. They stayed in Tel Aviv.
Right.
But when Trump came along, that's when and all of the different presidents could have declared the city of Jerusalem their capital.
Okay.
But it took Trump to actually do that.
Right.
And that was like 50 years from 67.
Right.
A jubilee. And that was in 2017. It was, I think, the last day, and Trump declared it.
Okay.
So that fulfilled the prophecy that Jesus gave. See?
Mm-hmm.
So what I've been looking for is like Romans 11:25, which talks about out of Zion will come the deliverer. And who's Zion? That's us.
Oh, okay.
The body of Christ.
Okay.
See? So, and that's what we're doing. We're reaching out to them now. And look at all of the Jewish people that are coming to Christ. Over the last, since 2017, even prior to that.
See, so that's something I guess I don't know much about then.
Well, yeah.
I don't travel in those circles.
Well,
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
can you share how we know this? Like, is it in the newspapers? Are you reading Jerusalem Post? Like, how do we know that tons of?
Well, just from history.
But I mean, okay,
What-
so if I'm understanding correctly, Jews are coming to the Lord, to the saving knowledge of the Lord
Exactly.
now, since and more so since 17.
Yeah, in 60s and 47,
Okay,
they got this, the land, if you will.
right,
And they started growing things. I mean, it's just, who was it? Mark Twain. He went over there in the 1800s. He said this is a total way. The place was just, nothing grew. It was just
a wasteland.
a wasteland.
Yeah.
Right. And in 47, when they started coming back, and they gave them that little piece of land. What do you want to call it? Well, we'd like to call it Israel. So it's just like God is just bringing back little by little.
Mm-hmm.
And now a lot of more people are coming. And the only thing left is the leadership acknowledging Jesus.
Okay,
And that was what he said. You will see me no more until you say, blessed is he that comes in the name of the Lord. See? So that's what I've been looking, to see Netanyahu. He was real close to Trump. He was out of a job. Now all of a sudden
he's back in.
He's back in.
Right.
And I would think of anybody, he might be open to, the gospel.
Right.
So that's what I've been praying, okay, Lord, please bring that, open his eyes to see
Okay.
that Jesus is the Messiah.
So how about when Brian sends the YouTube videos about the red heifer?
Oh,
Yeah, there's all these little things that people have, right?
Yeah.
All these little
That's
markers.
right. But see, that Jesus is, if you want to, that's not a good way of putting it, but if there's a red heifer, if he died, his blood, we don't need any heifers.
Right.
Do you see?
Well, but
Because
this
he's
is
fulfilled it
according to Jewish culture, feasts
Exactly.
and timing, right?
That's right.
Right.
See, they're looking still from the law, the aspect of the law.
Right.
And you have to have the red heifer. That's part of what Leviticus, dictates.
And then they're also
But Jesus
the
filled
temple has to be rebuilt, right?
Exactly.
Well, I haven't seen any
But-
excavators going to work.
That's right. Because we're the temple. Do you see? Know ye not that you are the temple of God, and the Spirit of God lives in you?
So someone's got to let the Israelis know that we're the temple?
Well, I think that, that's just something that is in the New Testament very clearly. Do you
Right.
see?
No, I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate what you're laying down. I don't know that our Hebrew brethren understand.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, they're still
In the dark.
In,
See,
in the law.
You're waiting
There's the
when
law and
when
there's
they understand, you think that'll be the end.
No, they have to they have to acknowledge Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
If you confess Jesus as Lord
Mm-hmm.
and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they have to do.
Like every last one of them, or a majority.
That's in God's hands.
I understand. No, I want to get these empirical questions. I'm asking because I'm trying to figure out how to. So my brain is traveling along this
Yeah,
AI.
yeah.
I think AI is coming as the Antichrist, and what this fella said about we're about 140 years away yet is the perfect time to make the earth a pretty horrible place, head towards tribulation times, like what it looks like in the Bible. And so that the very elect would be deceived if it were possible, right? So that's plenty of time for a slow march down to hell, where almost everybody, if it were possible, even the elect would be deceived. We get further entrenched in technology. Technology starts to run our lives, and we become slaves to AI, which would be the Antichrist. And so I'm taking that picture that I am seeing in my head that makes a lot of sense. And then I'm trying to, you're looking at it from when the Jews get saved, that means Jesus is here.
When they acknowledge him
As Savior,
as their Lord.
yeah, then he'll be here, or they're going to acknowledge that when he gets here. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's a lot of factors that go in.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to figure out these vectors, how to crash all of these things together.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I grew up with a grandmother believing that Jesus is bringing the helicopter, the holy helicopter, and we're all riding out of here, and then the end comes.
Yeah.
And I now believe something completely different. I am not a pre-trib person whatsoever any longer. And I think that we are going to take a ride into some tribulation times. And then it says he comes back one more time, and that is for Armageddon, the final battle. And then he judges quick and the dead and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm not looking for the holy helicopter any longer. And I think that and the only reason I do this is because I have kids. So do I prepare my children for a descending time into darkness so that they may be able to keep their spirits up and carry the gospel forward in a worse time? Or do I go, no, the holy helicopter's coming, so everybody have fun? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to me is really, I'm not trying to predict when he comes back. I don't really care. He comes back when he wants to. He said he would. I'm trying to figure out how to plan my life.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to really, we want to live the way he wants us to live.
Right.
And all these other things, the main thing to teach your kids is to love God, love people, and do what God wants you to do. Treat people the way we want to treat, God wants us to treat them.
Sure, absolutely. And those are great words.
But I mean, that's, reading, writing, arithmetic, all of that, that should be the way I look at it.
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
But all of this other stuff that's coming in now about gender and color and all of,
It's baloney.
well, it's not, we're focusing on, in my opinion, the wrong thing.
Right.
See, we want to focus on what is the gospel, what is the letters of Paul. That's pretty much, this is the way, we're to live.
Yeah.
Love one another and do good to one. We want to instill that into our children.
And do you realize how dumb we are? Like, as people, we're getting dumber. And we don't, and I say this because even myself, I'll point the finger at myself. I was watching with my kids, my wife likes to show them this thing called through the history, or the Bible through history.
Yeah.
It's something like this. And it's a guy trying to make Old Testament and New Testament Bible stories relevant and teach the history of why those things were important, and understanding how those people viewed the time. Mm-hmm. So I say all this because where I felt really stupid is in the Bible that we take for granted. We can get one right now. I mean, we could have a stack of Bibles in our arms in minutes,
Yeah.
right? In there are the letters of Paul, into which this fellow is saying he believes were letters that he hoped the Jewish uppity-ups would understand the significance of Christ. And the thing that the Jewish uppity-ups cared about was status, intelligence, and knowledge of history and how things worked. And so the letters from Paul, think of them as a testimony to establish the pedigree, and this is why the pedigree and the in Matthew that Jesus comes from, establishing that he comes from the very beginning and is from David and the people, Abraham and David, and then Jesus. That was very important to the Jewish elect. And we are reading basically court testimony showing the Jewish elect who Jesus is, why he is, and why you need to believe in him. And when you put it that way, we, at least for me, took that all for granted. Like, I never thought about it that way before. Like, I know he wrote the letters, and some of the letters he wrote from prison, and I know he wrote some of the letters to his counterparts to take the gospel after he were to be gone, and so on and so on. But the importance of the truth that we're holding in our hands and reading and studying is not for... You're reading court documents. You're reading the testimony for Christ. And maybe it's like in my mind and everyone else gets it, but I don't see it. And I work like, so I let my kids watch this stuff. I'm trying to make it important to them. They want to go get a snack. You know, we work on these things a little bit every day.
Sure.
But I think we're headed into a time where we're going to need to keep that to our heart, because more and more increasingly, especially when you just start to see, it's like the devil just appears on television now. Like, it's just like, hello, I'm a Satanist.
Yeah.
You know? That's what we're doing right now. When I'm old and my kids have kids, my goodness, what is it going to look like?
Yeah.
Because I had an uncle.
If it goes that far. See that?
Yeah, and that, okay, so this, we come accidentally full circle to how I started this. I'm trying to figure out what you're looking at it from the Jewish clock, and I'm looking at it from some guy parsing out stars, time frame, what the Bible says, and I'm comparing it to how I grew up, and I think what people believe on the surface. And then I'm saying, okay, what do we really have? Where is this really going? And is it going to be real dark? Like I'm kind of starting to think it is. Or
didn't people think that he was coming back in World War II? I mean,
I would surely think so.
You know,
I would surely think. I mean, that was a dark time.
Yeah.
Or the Dark Ages.
Or even the First World War.
Yeah, or the First World War. Yeah, that was pretty awful.
I wouldn't think that he's coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, you don't think it's like next week?
Hundreds of years.
Okay, you're a far down the road guy too.
Yeah.
And why is that? What puts you there?
I don't know.
Is your gut feeling?
Gut feeling.
Yeah.
And like I said, just let the movie on play. You know.
Yeah. Are you? And I know you know. I don't know how much time you've put thought into this. Are you a pre?
I'm still crawling.
Are you a pre, mid, post?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still new at all this. You know.
Yeah. Right.
2 years fresh.
Right. No, that's why I'm saying I get it.
But I don't think it's anytime soon.
Okay.
Personally.
Do you think?
Well, I look at it like, you know, there's the law,
Yep.
And then Jesus came, and he brought the period of grace, and that's where we are. Okay.
Okay.
Now, that the Jews stayed in the law, or not all of them, of course. 3,000 at Pentecost, and there was the first century. Most were Jews that believed in Jesus until they took the gospel to the Gentiles.
Right.
And then, the gospel pretty much, and that's where we are.
Yeah, we're in the time of the Gentiles.
Right.
But if we take, and I'm on board with all that. I think that all makes incredible sense.
But
Go ahead.
Just say they lost the land. That's the biggie. See.
In 70 A.D.
Yeah, and I think that America really was founded on Jesus Christ. You see, all of these people that were evangelists over in Europe came to America, and everywhere, every you'd have to look to the different colleges.
Sure.
Or different denominations.
Right.
And they were established all over America.
Yep.
So it's like God, they lost with the law. That's what happened.
Right.
It was all scattered.
Right.
And God now is through America, established Christianity. And that was the foundation of our country.
Right.
As much as they're trying to say it was a lot of other stuff.
So I am hold on. I am a kind of an other stuff guy. I do think that God blessed this nation, or is blessed it for a reason, and blesses those who operate in His realm and in the kingdom. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think America was established 50-50.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of the chess set of when God laid it out.
Maybe even less than that.
When you have a no other time, no other place in history, this has been the country where you can say what you want.
That's right.
We have had, we don't anymore. We have had the freedom to be ourselves.
Right.
And I think that this country was established for, this is the final playing field. Let the chips fall where they may. That has allowed the country to come to a point to help get Israel established. Whether or not we're a Christian nation or founded on Christianity, I don't think that's important. And although undeniable, a lot of Christians were here, did a lot of great work, colleges, schooling,
Exactly.
and we had a lot of people. But I think Washington. Then I think why this is important, and explains why Washington is the way that it is. I think Washington has been our satanic, seedy little underbelly, and I think that's his kingdom. And I think that's why if you get elected as a congressman or a senator, you're pretty much doomed. Because when people go there, they turn out into somebody else, and you never hear from them again. So I say that in like, this is the final chessboard in the end times. And look at us. We're about to fall in the toilet because I think we've done what we're supposed to do. We've done what God needed in His plan for our country to do, and we're not in the Bible in the end.
And not only that, you got to be a part of the club.
Right.
Whatever club that is.
Whatever club that may be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you going
No, I totally forgot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it was good.
Yeah, it's really sad to see the country. When I grew up in the 40s.
Yes. Yes.
And there was more emphasis on the Bible and and what we were taught in school. And it was basically reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Right.
And but now, you can see that we're going away from God being the center of things. We've got all of this other stuff coming in.
Yeah.
And little by little, the country that really walks with the Lord is going to be blessed.
Yeah.
And the country that doesn't is going to have some problems.
I think we're gonna have some problems.
A lot of
We're
problems.
definitely not the country.
No, yeah, we're not the blessed country
Yeah.
any longer. I really think we
But
did
I
our
think
part.
we still have, we have our fellowships just like here,
Yeah.
and as long as we stand and teach our children to stand,
Yeah.
I think that's where God wants the focus to be,
Right. Yeah. Well, no, I don't want to be all gloom and doomy and whatever. But I go ahead.
Even back then, I think if it was more God and whatever, higher ups putting that stuff in schools, they're still a part of that club.
Yeah.
And you can still talk that stuff in the club.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it might be I don't know, some kind of deception.
Well, and see, this is what I think. Everyday hardworking people who live by the Bible, like Jim here, and my grandparents and past, there's been a view of the country as it being mostly Christian and working together. But I believe that we're now at a place where we see Washington is not for us. And I don't know that it ever has been. And I think that's the other 50% of the puzzle that's been operating quietly. But now, since it's the year of the devil,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you know what's funny?
Did I tell you that? Well, I'll have to tell Jim that. Yeah.
Go ahead, tell him. You might as well go ahead and so people on TV remember too.
So I went to this concert last year. I forget who it was. Probably people we shouldn't have saw, but it was a free, really expensive ticket, so we both went, me and the wife. And the whole stadium, the Brown Stadium, went dark, and then the whole thing lit up red, and on the sides of the stadium it said 2023, the year of the devil.
Yeah. So
and no one, I doubt a lot of people.
even when you said it, it doesn't register.
No,
Because you said August of last year?
I want to say that was around July.
July. Okay. But now you move to this year and you look at the NFL halftime show, the Oscars, and
I tried to get my phone out in time to film it, but as soon as
it
I
was
got
gone.
It,
Gone.
it was like a 10-second deal.
Yeah.
I'm like, reading all this, you don't know what's happening, and then it comes up.
Yeah.
It was wild. And it only did it once.
But so look at this year. My cousin, Brad, was watching, there was a big hubbub about Chris Rock's new special that came out and how funny
on
it
Netflix?
is. And, yeah. And
About Will Smith smacking him around.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess he watched the special to see if it was also all funny. And he comes out, background's all red, and he's wearing a white tux. And does a bit about, I don't remember if he makes fun of God and religion but there's a bit where my cousin is just like, Matt, you can't tell me it wasn't satanic. And so everything we're seeing, satanic.
Hey, you can do your bit, but you have to do this part too.
Right.
Maybe.
No, totally.
Some of them people have
I don't
to
even
do
think,
that.
I don't even think, at this point, I think they just do it.
Yeah, I think that's a lot.
I think we're past you're going to have to do this too.
Yeah.
I think the people doing it now,
This is part of your contract.
they're worshiping. They're just doing it. Because I think, so you had your Katy Perry's, and you had your music stars that would write songs all the way back to, we'll go back to Robert Johnson, who wrote the first song, Crossroads, about how he made a deal with the devil so he could be famous.
Yeah.
Right? That was the crack.
I watched a big thing on him.
Did you?
That's interesting.
Yeah?
Supposedly he did become a great musician overnight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, that's the legend.
Yeah.
Like, he beat on this guitar night and day, and he was okay.
But it was like that.
He became famous.
Right.
He became renowned.
Right.
Yeah. So, and ever since then, musical artists, like Bob Dylan has a famous 60 Minutes interview.
I seen that, yeah.
Yeah.
The commander-in-chief.
The commander, the big guy. Or whatever. Yeah. And the interviewer, Ed Bradley's like, well, who do you mean? What do you mean? He goes, the one, And then, Katy Perry sings songs about how she's caught in this system. She wants to run away, but she can't. She grew up in a Christian home. So she knew the difference between right and wrong. And she ends up doing a song like, hey, I'm stuck in here. Machine Gun Kelly's got a song.
Yeah.
That like, hey, this is where I am now. This is what I do. This is who I serve.
Yeah.
So it's just...
They're like drinking each other's blood now. Machine Gun Kelly and his wife. What's her name? From the
Kardashians?
robot movie.
The robot movie.
Transformers. He's dating her.
Oh, the Camaro girl?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they're together.
I can't remember her name.
But they like cut each other up and drink their
Oh, my God. Nope, this is the world we live in. So anyway.
Where were we?
Oh, but the 2023.
Oh, about the 2023 and the year of the devil. Like, I've never seen it more in our face.
Yeah.
It's like everything that was conspiracy theory prior to COVID is now all real. Everybody's like, nope, that's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just how it's going to be. Like, nobody's going to prison. No one's going to jail. No one's like all the pedophilia talk, all the weirdo cult stuff and the parties with the nonsense. I haven't heard anybody deny it or even throw it in your face that they do it, and nobody's getting in trouble. I mean, it's the year of the devil.
Yep.
So, David writes, 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. Yeah, it's numerology thing, David. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say. Obviously, 6 times 6 times 6 does not equal 2160, but you get 216, add a 0. There was even some kind of explanation why you add a 0 in with the Jewish whatever. I don't know. I'm just going like I'm with you. My gut tells me like every day when I wake up, I shouldn't be like, it'll be today.
Yeah.
And
there's probably some cool stuff to figure out with mathematics.
Yeah.
That's why we have it, I think.
Well, and his argument of like the stars are for our amazement, right? So that we know he's God, but it's also his timepiece.
Yeah.
No, we have the constellations.
Right.
The 12, and I think they acknowledge that the number 12 is something that really has to do with the whole universe.
Right.
And sound. And apparently...
Which is always, you made a big deal about.
Things
Marshall did.
Marshall did.
Yeah.
Yeah, with sound. And science is really uncovering some unbelievable things today.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, you being God, or him being God.
Right.
You figure this out. You can change it.
I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he would, though.
He could put in a little decimal here, whatever. And make, you know what I mean?
See, because I think that'd be like changing the rules of the game. I don't see that happening.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
I see everything being laid down from the foundation of time, like it says in the Bible, and then that plan, because he's infinite. Okay, he's at the beginning and at the end at the same time. He's just letting it play out.
Yeah, that's why I'm stuck on that movie. Movies on play,
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, if the movie is in a can and then in your VCR, you're not sticking a decimal point in it. You're just watching it happen.
True.
Yeah, that's. I think okay. So this will be good because Brian's not here to argue and defend himself. I don't think at creation the days were 1,000 years apart. So on day one, it was 1,000 years from day two. Was 1,000 years from day three. Was 1,000. I think they were 24-hour literal days.
Yeah.
I don't think God changes the rules
On that.
I think our universe consistently has been ticking since the day he went boom. So,
And does that matter?
well,
I don't know.
It does matter because he's unchanging. That makes him unchanging. Is like he laid it down at the beginning, and what he says is happening at the ending will happen. It's not going to change. So I think that's why that's important, because you're establishing consistency and trustability, and you can believe, right? You can't believe in a moving target because you don't know where it's going to end up. But this target is consistent.
Right.
All right. Any other comments? Nothing yet. Not a lot of viewers today.
Jim, you got to do research on the year of the devil.
Yeah.
2023.
2023.
Yeah.
I certainly think you can put
gonna
together
be-
plenty of examples.
We're almost halfway through it already.
It's been a great year of the devil so far. Oh my goodness.
I think he's coming. And it won't be long. Somehow. Because if you look with the Jews, in the first century there, a lot of people were really on fire for the Lord, and then persecution came, and then the end came,
Yes.
And it seems like we're going that same route. Our, what was it, 1492, when we started out, and then we really had, Jesus was our focus, you might say. And now we're going that same way. Persecution coming, and then boom. But right now, there's a lot that are looking for a lot of people being saved. That we're going to see a real outpouring of the Spirit. And that's something to really pray for.
Yes. I hope you're right, because I have not enjoyed the year of the devil.
Me neither.
I would like to go back to a better time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at when Trump was in. And it seems to me like, why can't people see that?
I don't understand either, Jim.
They hate him.
So badly.
But it's like, it's almost like they hate him because it's like he revealed maybe what God wants.
Well, he's who brought all them losers out into the open in Washington.
That's right.
He brought all that out.
I mean, look at what, the way he ran. We had a good border.
Yeah.
We had every
Our economy, Jim, we were selling stuff faster than we could bring it in the door.
Yeah.
I mean, it was unbelievable.
People's wages were up.
Yeah.
I mean, and
You could buy something for $20.
Yeah.
and you
exactly.
could get a place to live, that was really, you didn't have like the lady running Chicago,
Right.
that type of
Right.
people that are letting,
The crime is running rampant.
That's right.
Yes. I agree.
It's like it's turned upside down.
Yes.
And that should wake everybody up that, hey, we're going the wrong way. And we're not going to have a country if it keeps going like this,
I agree with you 100%. I don't know that. Well, here's the thing too. I'm not endorsing Trump as a person or his lifestyle. I don't know him,
Oh no,
right?
that's not. It's what.
It's
you
how
know,
it's what he did as a leader for our country.
Exactly.
Right. Well, because
You know,
the
in
reason
God
is
we trust.
the reason is
You know, in
have you
other
talked
words,
to your have you talked to your friend Chuck much about Donald Trump?
No.
Because he does not like Donald Trump.
Yeah, no.
He is not like the man. And I respect that. That's fine. I think there's plenty of things about Donald Trump the person that are detestable. To be honest with you, prior to him running for the president, I was never a Donald Trump fan. I just found him to be tacky and annoying as a personality. And it's really strange when I was doing my office stuff, and when I do my office stuff, I watch the news. And while I was watching the news in 216, I happened to catch his escalator appearance, where he announced his presidency.
And then he saw it on The Simpsons.
And I watched it, and I told my wife right then, I think she was making breakfast, I'm like, this guy's going to be president of the United States. Like, and I was like, I think I'm going to be behind him because we've got nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah.
And
if you, from my standpoint, it's like a miracle that he got in.
it was a miracle he got in.
Because they had it all planned. Who's going to be,
I know.
and I think, was it Hillary that was supposed to
Yes.
be the president?
Yes.
I mean,
All these things are obvious.
yeah.
And I do not know who does not see.
And Law and Order, just that.
Right.
When he was president.
Right.
And all of the, they found out that our oil and our gas is better than anywhere else in the world.
And we have plenty to make for
And
ourselves.
it's clean. Yeah.
We have plenty. No, no, this is so silly. And then, all right, we'll go back to the car thing. Did you hear? I was listening to Glenn Beck this morning. January 2024, the Mustang and the Camaro are dead.
I know.
They're shutting down all gas motors.
And the sad thing is, I really like the
yeah.
new Mustang. It runs.
Yeah.
However, have you heard what they're discovering with electricity?
No.
They can make electricity out of air. I just read that.
Like
Some
so,
of the scientific things that are coming.
so fusion.
Pardon?
Fusion.
Yeah, yeah.
I've heard that's a bunch of bunk.
See, that fusion is just like the beginning. They're just taking this thing apart. It's just amazing what they're coming up with.
That might
Okay.
be what that Bob Lazar talking about. Sets that thing up and you could power your whole house.
Yeah, and I don't know how much I believe it. But because I as a young child, or Star Trek person, okay, I'm waiting for that first contact moment where we hit warp. We come up with a warp drive and we blast ourselves out into space and time travel. Okay, I think that could happen. But I don't think we're there right now, and I don't believe it. And I've heard as much because I heard the same stories that you were kind of reading, and they've been talking about this now since the beginning of the year.
Right.
That fusion, they made it work, and we're going to have limitless power. I've heard that they've had the same crap now for 30 years. They can't get it scaled up. They can't make it work on a big level. They can make it work on a small level. They can't make it work on a big level. And they're selling this story so that you'll throw all your old technology away.
Boy,
Petro.
that's right.
Yep, and go grab on the electric horn.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's still going to cost big money.
I know it's not going to be cheap, and it's not. And there's a lot of stuff to be put in place, like I've seen recharging stations on the turnpike, but nowhere else.
Yeah, I haven't. I've been looking for.
Oh, you
them.
mean like for electric cars?
Yeah.
I mean, I see them around. They got them in Aurora now.
I just.
Yeah, but think about all the people that drive. How often do you see a gas station?
They're everywhere.
I know. And how many pumps are at each gas station?
That's right.
At least 4 or 5.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see one charging space in a parking lot at a time?
Yeah, now
Come on.
you're going to have a line of cars waiting for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's ridiculous.
No, it is ridiculous. Whatever their plan is, I don't think it's a good one.
Well, the thing is, you know, if somebody, like they did, you know, they captured the thing and took it for themselves rather than giving it to the, you know, the country, if you will.
Or the world or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, what have you.
Yeah, who was the one scientist there in the in the beginning of the 1900s? Tesla. You know,
Nikola
now
Tesla.
he wanted to give it to everybody for free.
Right.
See,
There's debate on whether he was killed or not.
if he what?
If he was killed or not.
Oh, I'm sure,
There was debate on
because
that.
everything was gone, all of his writings and everything.
Yeah.
They found a couple things here and there, but you know, the real foundation of how it all took place and how he connected, you know, DC and AC and
He was a pretty he was a
gee.
pretty dark guy though.
I don't know.
And a communist.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But he had a brain on him, boy.
Which I find amusing about Tesla. Now Tesla.
Oh, Elon.
Elon Musk, yeah. You don't know what side he's working for.
I used to be for him.
Yeah.
But
Now you're not so
I'm
sure?
really not.
No, listen, I think you would say the same thing about Nikola Tesla. I think that's why that's comical or ironic or the genius of Elon Musk, as it were. Yeah. Yeah. And his mom's a weirdo, too. Yeah.
have you been following that rocket that they made out of?
I haven't.
In fact, I don't realize what is it. They have a thing that goes around and it just makes it out of electricity.
Mm-mm.
The way they make the rocket, it just went up, and the first stage was fine,
Okay.
but the second stage that was the end of it.
This
Blew
wasn't
up?
NASA, was it?
No, this is
Okay.
Tesla.
Tesla?
Elon Musk.
no.
Amazon, Blue Origin.
The
Russians.
way they made the rocket,
Okay.
it was
3D printed.
that's it.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah,
They 3D printed a rocket.
rocket.
Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
And
Yeah.
it looked good. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
the first stage was great.
Yeah.
Flew?
But then all
Yeah.
of a sudden, boom,
Yeah.
shut down. So, you know, I think they're encouraged by the first, the first.
We'll have 3D printed homes here soon.
No, we're not. We're going to get rid of oil.
True.
How are you going to make plastic?
Yeah, true.
I mean, this is so silly.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
That's
the
true.
this grain thing is,
No.
it's sad.
Here's the bad thing, Jim. Even if we get our boy back in there for 2024, GM's still shutting off the Camaro. GM's still shutting off the Mustang.
Yeah.
They're still
Ford.
they're still gonna try and peddle you an electric truck to pull your camper, which it can't.
Yeah, and also the news media is still
Yeah, they're all in the tank.
totally on their own.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
and that's what influences the average person.
yeah. Right, exactly. Well, and so you're reading the story about the fusion. I'm saying be careful because that comes from the same media that we don't trust.
That's true.
Yeah, they want us to believe they have this fusion thing down. I don't see it anywhere. I don't see no one using it. I don't.
Oh,
no.
no.
Have you heard about a fusion reactor going in anywhere? No.
See, it's the ones that control that have the money to, to own it, if you will.
Yeah, but I can't believe that several countries haven't figured it out by now. I think this technology is 30, 40, 50, 60 years old.
Well, I don't know.
And for
Fusion,
someone-
they just acknowledged that,
Because how far a leap? Like we figured out nuclear, then there's fission, and then fusion.
fusion.
Yeah,
That's right.
right. And so, We haven't figured out nothing else since then.
It's going to take a while to develop it. Look at how long it took to develop fishing.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen overnight.
I wish.
If you're a regular Joe Schmo that figures something out, you're probably gonna get smoked.
You're gonna get dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, that
It's
is.
true. We don't encourage
Yeah.
development any longer.
Yeah.
No.
See,
No.
it's those that have the money.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well,
That's-
and that's why
that's what-
we aren't capitalists anymore. We're corporatists.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is corporatism. Yeah. All right, listen, fellas. It's 11:05.
Oh my.
Cool.
We did our bit. We didn't have a whole bunch of viewers.
Yeah, we really miss Brian.
I mean, I think we do okay.
Yeah. I do.
No, we miss Brian, and apparently everyone else misses Brian too, because nobody really watched today.
Yeah.
We'll get a little
They must have known he wasn't
blow
going
up
to be
over
here.
over there.
We should get a cardboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, of him sitting in the chair.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll have him. We'll put a little recorded MP3 player in him of him reading the Bible.
Mhm.
Yeah, but guys, I want you to hone in on this verse.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do this.
Just have it on loop.
All right. So for those who did
God bless you. And
chime in,
have
thanks.
a good week.
Have a great week, and well, maybe Brian will be back next week, and everybody will be watching again. Until then,
Yes. Keep looking up.
keep
For
looking out.
your redemption is drawing near.
Yes,
Because
even
it is the year.
of the El Diablo. And
Yeah.
go ahead, you finish out your thought.
Sooner this year is over,
The better,
yeah.
unless next year is somehow worse.
I hope not.
Next year is when the shots get fired.
Yeah,
Oh, because we're gonna be in an election.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggie. Yeah. They're going to pull all the stops out trying to get either Hillary or somebody in there that they want.